Afternoon. This video documentation is in regards to the L-Way 211 Subaru WRX headlights. Just some more information about how to get the H7 bulb removed. Originally with these units, they have the rear housing cap kind of secured on like that with several Phillips screws. I think there's an estimate about 5 Phillips screws per low beam cap. So once you go ahead and remove all the Phillips screws from the cap, you can just go ahead and just pull the cap right off. Got the Phillips screws right down here on the table that I just removed. Then once that's removed, you'll already accessing the rear section of the H7 housing of the low beam projector. So in order to get these housing bolts removed, all you're going to need to do is actually just pull this H7 internal adapter from the bulb. So there's a 2-prong tower. Once you got the female connector removed, go ahead, push down on this metal tab. So this little thing right here is on a hook, like a little metal tab hook. So you'll see right there. Yeah, so all you need to do is just push down on it, push to the side, bend this pin, little tab over on this section. Go ahead and do the same on this section. If this is on the inner side, just push down, push towards the inner side, spring it up, and you're able to bring this little depression tab up. And that way you can just kind of remove the halogen bulb as is. So if you do have a replacement H7 halogen bulb, or even the other side halogen bulb removed, and that way you can transfer it over, you can go ahead and plug it back in. So with the halogen bulb, just take notice that just try not to touch the glass bulb, because the oils in your finger will shorten the bulb's life, but go ahead and handle it with the base. But if you notice on the base that there's a raised notch on the top, that raised notch on the top is actually going to need to be facing upwards to align correctly with the housing. So there's a little notch on this section too as well, and that's where this little notch will be sitting right next to. So you can see, don't try to insert it a bit skewed, but go ahead and see that little tab right there. It aligns in the corner of that notch right on top. So once it's seated, it's going to be seating pretty flat. And once you got that done, go ahead and bring this tab right back down, bend this over inwards, clip it in. Oops. Make sure the bulb's seated correctly. There you go. Yeah, so bring this in, clip it, bring this in as well, clip it. Once that's done, everything's secured, the bulb's secured. You can go ahead and get the connection back again. Just push down the connection, make sure the pins are securely, firmly pushed in. Once that's done, you get the bulb replaced. So right now what I'm going to also be showing is actually the main connector. I've already wired it with my 12-volt power supply. I'm confirming with you that I've isolated the grounding negative pin, which is going to be actually this black wire right here. Sorry, it's going to be hard to see, but I'll go ahead and kind of show you the face of the connector. So from the face of the connector, you'll see that this raised edge right here, and then there's 2 raised edges on the bottom. Starting from the bottom with the 2 raised edge, it's going to be actually, might need to get a flashlight in there, but let me get a more light in there. Sorry. Alright, hopefully this can focus a bit better. Alright, so from the raised edge on the bottom, there's going to be from the left to the right. The second pin is actually going to be your grounding negative. And then the pin right above that is going to be your positive. So I'm going to go ahead and wire it accordingly. So I got my grounding lead right here. I'm going to go ahead and ground it. Now, on the connector with the one notch on the top, you'll see a blue wire right there. This blue wire with the second pin on top, that's actually going to be your positive pin for the low beam. Now, after replacing the halogen bulb, if it still doesn't work, I really want to make sure for you to double check that main connector to make sure that the pin has not been pushed in, the blue or the black wire. Because if it has been pushed in, it does explain why it never worked from the beginning. But if it hasn't been pushed in, it most likely will be a halogen bulb issue rather than anything else. So after you've checked for the halogen bulb, if it resolves with the halogen bulb, great, let me know. If it doesn't, then move on to check through the pin. If the pin is not an issue, I would definitely check on your low beam fuse to make sure that the low beam fuse on the whichever side that's been blown out hasn't been blown. So these are the 3 common things I'll double check to confirm. If you can reply to let me know what the update is, we'll be knowing to how to proceed from there. Thank you so much for your time.